Okay, today we're going to talk about surface area of pyramids and cones. So we're continuing with surface area. We just have new shapes. And the reason we put these shapes together is because they only have one base. So this pyramid has the one square base. This cone has the one circular base. And there's a couple measurements that we need to know in these different shapes. So in a pyramid, this segment right here is called the lateral edge. The lateral edge is never actually used in a formula, but sometimes it'll give it to you and then you use the lateral edge to find what you do need. The segment you are going to need is this one, and it gets drawn from the vertex at the top down to the midpoint of the opposite side, and it creates a right angle, and we abbreviate it with the cursive L, and this cursive L stands for the slant height. And you need the slant height when you are calculating lateral area and total surface area of pyramids and cones. Okay, in our formula, there's the slant height over here, and this capital P is still the perimeter of one base, and this capital B down here is the area of one base. So remember, total surface area is always larger because it includes the base or bases. In this case, there's just one base. Okay, in a cone, you should know some of these measurements already. This is the radius, and this is the slant height. Okay? In a cone, there's no lateral edge. The one in the center is the height. Now, we'll use the height when we do volume, but we need the slant height to do lateral area and total surface area. Okay, let's see if we can figure this out. So on number 1, here is our base. So the perimeter of the base, it's a square. We have to add up all the sides. So 6 plus 6 plus 6. Remember, you could have done 6 times 4 as well. So you get 24 centimeters. The area of the base, well, it's a square. The area of a square is side squared. So we get 36 centimeters. The slant height. This number right here, this line, it's going down the middle. This is the slant height. So there's nothing to calculate on this one. Now that we know that, we can find the lateral area, which is 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. Take half of one of the numbers and then put this in your calculator. 12 times 9 would give you 108. That's lateral area. Now, total surface area includes the bases, but in a cone or pyramid, there's just one base. Now notice this part matches. All we're adding is just this one base. So we're taking whatever that number is and adding the one base. So total surface area is the lateral area, which is 108, plus the one base, which is 36. So we add those and get 144 centimeters squared. I need to fix my labels. Lateral area is centimeters squared, so is area of base. All right, let's try this again. We have another pyramid. Here is the base. So in this one, the perimeter, I can add 12 plus 12 plus 12 4 times, or I could just take 12 times 4, which gives me 48 inches. The area of a base, it's a square, so it's going to be 12 squared, which is 144 inches squared. The slant height is not given. This measurement here is the lateral edge. So to be able to find the slant height, we're going to have to draw it in. When you draw it in, it splits the side in half, so this is going to be 6 and 6, and there's your slant height. So to find the slant height, you're going to have to do Pythagorean theorem. So we have 6 squared plus the slant height squared equals 10 squared. Okay, so the slant height squared equals 64. So the slant height, when you take the square root, is just 8. All right, lateral area. Lateral area is going to be 1/2 times your perimeter times your slant height. Take half of one of the numbers. It doesn't matter which one. And that gets you 192 inches squared. Total surface area is your lateral area, plus we just shaded one base, so we're going to add on the one base, and I get 336 inches squared. Okay, one more pyramid because these tend to be a little bit trickier. The perimeter, well, the base is a square, so I can add 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16, or I can just take 16 times 4, which is 64 centimeters squared. The area of the base, it's a square, so side squared, so I get 256 centimeters squared. Ignore me, don't put the squared on the perimeter. Okay, slant height goes down the center, cuts the side in half, so this is 8 and 8. So to be able to find the slant height, we're going to need to be able to do the Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to have 8 squared plus the slant height squared equals 17 squared. Okay, I am assuming you can do Pythagorean theorem, so I'm just going to tell you this comes out to be 15. But on your homework, if you don't know what the answer is, you're going to have to do the formula. Okay, now I can find lateral area, so that's 1/2. Perimeter is 64 times slant height, which is 15. Take half of one of them, so I'm going to get 32 times 15, which is going to be 480 centimeters squared. Total surface area is the lateral area, which is 480, plus the one base, which is 256. Oops, I typed that in my calculator wrong. 480 plus 256 gives us 736 centimeters squared. Okay, same thing, but now we're going to go to a cone. Now remember, in a cone, well, in a circle, you don't have perimeter. The distance around a circle is circumference. So when they're asking for the perimeter, they're really asking for the circumference. Okay, so circumference, if the radius is 3, would be 2 pi times the radius, which is 6 pi feet. Also remember, anytime we're dealing with a circle, if I've drawn in the radius, the number I've given you is the radius. If I draw in the the diameter, the number I gave you is the diameter. Okay, area of the base. Well, that means we're going to find the area of a circle. So that's pi times 3 squared. So I get 9 pi feet squared. Slant height. Okay, in a cone, there's no lateral edge. This is the slant height. If it is slanted in a cone, it is the slant height, so that's 12 feet. Use the same formula. Lateral area is 1/2 times the perimeter times the slant height. Take half of one of them, and we get 36 pi feet squared. Total surface area is your lateral area plus a cone, just like a pyramid, has one base, and that one base is 9 pi. So we add it together and we get 45 pi feet squared. All right, last one. We've got another cone. Now remember, if I draw on the radius, it's the radius. If I draw on the diameter, it's the diameter. So this one I've drawn in the diameter, so that number is the diameter. So our perimeter, or our circumference, is just going to be pi times diameter. But we're going to use our good math manners and put the number first, so it's 24 pi yards. Area is pi times the radius squared. Well, if the diameter is 24, the radius is 12, so that gives us 144 pi yards squared. Now we need the slant height. The slant height in a cone is the one that is literally slanted. We don't have that measurement, but the height, the slant height, and the radius form a right triangle. Now I know the height and the radius is 12, and I knew that because the diameter was 24. So we can do Pythagorean theorem, and I can do 12 squared plus 16 squared equals the slant height squared. And trust me, once you work that all out, it's going to be 20. Now you can find your lateral area. Your lateral area is 1/2 times the perimeter times the slant height. Take half of one of them, so we get 240 pi yards squared. Total surface area. Total surface area includes the bases. Lateral area does not. So we're going to take the lateral area, which is 240 pi. We only shaded one base. That one base has an area of 144 pi. So now we can add the two things together. So 240 plus 144 gives us 384 pi yards squared. And that's it.